Let us savor tantric chanting and effortless meditation. Let us begin with mindfulness and meditation, the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. This has been described as slicing through the obscurations to our Buddha nature. So, oh, the joys of editing live during class. Let's put this here, press 48, that'll work. Okay. Let's hit copy and move forward. A delicious prerequisite to mindfulness and meditation is energy work, sometimes described as Anu Yoga or Tikle or simply bliss and letting go. This particular flavor is described in English as calling the Lama from afar. It is described in Tibet as a Lama Kyano. Upon the path of Yang, we might actively visualize or indulge blind faith. What we're going to do is the path of Yin, which is super easy and super efficient. For those of you watching along on the Tube app, there are two images on the screen. At the bottom, there's an image depicting a bronze statue, which represents us, the meditator. And above it, overhead, is a two-dimensional image representing the teacher or the teachings. It doesn't matter. All that matters is there's going to be 6 syllables that we're going to chant 3 times. Playing with these syllables makes it feel as if real or imagined energy is coalescing at the top of our head, which makes letting go very easy. We're going to chant Lama, which means teacher. Lama, come to. Then we're going to recite the one syllable mantra, pay, and while simultaneously snapping our fingers overhead and say the word crown. This is a highly efficient method, requiring zero faith and zero visualization. This is an open practice. You don't need tantric empowerment. Let's jump right in. Lama come to pay crown. Lama come to pay crown. Lama come to pay crown. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We turn our attention now to slicing through the obscuring emotions of hope and fear, or dread and desire, or pushing or pulling. This is known also in Sanskrit as Ati Yoga, and in English as awareness and letting go. This, like everything else we're going to do, is super easy. If someone tells you it's complicated, it's because they don't understand or because they're trying to coerce you. It's very simple. Every time we feel air enter our nostrils, we're going to silently and mentally recite the verb watch, which will help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. It'll help us to notice mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. All manner of phenomena are going to come up
the external and the internal, the physical and the mental, the pleasurable and the painful, the interesting and the boring, the glorious and the grotesque. What are we going to do to cope with what comes up? Simple. Every time we exhale, every time we feel air exit our nostrils, we're going to silently and mentally recite the verb rest. Our use of these words is not magical. They're simply aligning our intention with the factory installed wiring of our autonomic nervous system. This relaxing during our exhalation helps us, I should say, reciting the verb rest during our exhalation helps us to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining. Now, if you enjoy figures of speech, think of it this way. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Well, what's a real-world example of that? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could look tantalizing to the eye, feels non-graspable to the hand. So there is no mystery around emptiness. It is just a metaphor for the fleeting experience latent within each exhalation. So together, let us sit and breathe spontaneously. We're not going to force ourselves to breathe slow or fast or deep or shallow. Let us sit and breathe and watch and rest. No, you're not alone. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. And someone just gave me love. Thank you very much. Right back at you. During this exercise, I find it helpful to rest the great knuckle at the base of my right index finger upon the tip of my left knuckle, palms up in my lap. Remember, it's watch and rest. Those who are elitist, those who are rigid, will tell us stories. They'll say that if you perceive something ugly or emote something ugly or intend something ugly, it's going to drag you kicking and screaming into the bowels of hell. No. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever ugliness or beauty we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just perception. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever pleasure or pain we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of just emotion. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever kindness or cruelty we might have noticed in the great pinball machine of our heart during our inhalation could feel as if they're melting into the simplicity of just intention. Now, if you're terribly clever, you might ask yourself, then what's to keep us from just running amok and putting on a leather face mask and chasing people with a running chainsaw. English, what a concept. So here's how it works.
The more we passively cooperate with our autonomic nervous system, the more we automatically calm our amygdala, the seat of aggression and anxiety, and gently stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy. That is why the late Tukul Tunduk insisted that the highest love was the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of simply watching and resting. How cool is that? Welcome to the lazy bastard path of enlightenment. Our job is neither to push or pull at what we feel. Ironically, when we feel aversion to meditation, our job is simply to sit and breathe and watch it and rest. And use it as grist for the mill. There are some weaselly members of patriarchy who begin a teaching thusly. If you don't understand me, it's because you're not worthy. Bullshit. The burden of comprehension weighs upon the shoulders of the person yapping. If you go to a discourse and you don't understand, it's the teacher's fault. Anyone who tells you something otherwise is advertising that they are both dull-witted and dark-hearted. Having completed our opening practice of mindfulness and meditation, let us take a moment to shift gears. It is Rey Skywalker Sunday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Now let's return to our practice text. By exploring the view of reality that supports letting go is the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. This is sometimes described as leapfrogging over pride. If you're joining me on the Tube app, please chant with me. Rather than indulge our controlling tendencies with all volleys of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and instead relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. So, leaping over pride so first thing we're going to do is bring the circumstantial into the path of wisdom. Doing this so elitists will say you can't do these practices without a tantric empowerment. There was a great Tibetan yogi named Za Patrul Rinpoche. As a young man, he was taught, hook, line, and sinker, to be rigid and elitist. However, as an old man, when he dictated his final meditation manual, he taught that just by playing with these gentle, passive contemplations of letting go and love, we are automatically lavishing all the tantric empowerments on all beings everywhere. Now, does that mean that because some dead Tibetan said it, it's 100% accurate? No. But sometimes we have to speak the language of the people trying to bully us. And if people are trying to use Tibetan folklore to bully us, then we just say, not according to Za Patrul Rinpoche. That probably doesn't happen very often, but it will happen once in a while. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, including 90% of people, including 90% of Buddhists, including 90% of teachers. So there are fools and there are bullies. And I was sent out as a sheep among wolves and I was eaten alive. It wasn't very fun. And I want to make sure that you have a more comfortable journey than I did. So if you're on the Tube app with me, let's chant. Wait a second. Oh no, I've got to adjust climate control because it's one of my tools for managing disabilities. Excuse me. No fun getting heat rash in the middle of class. That's what I always say. Okay. And let's... Having some trouble with the coordination. This ain't fun. Okay, so... Oh, wrong direction. Okay, let's go this way. Okay. Let's chant. All directions or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could telephony absorb into this body or form. The six-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted would be all lots melt into form. We recite it silently and mentally in harmony with our breathing. Once again, it's not our job to take this literally. It's not our job to visualize. It's not our job to believe. Simply by playing with these words in harmony with our breathing, we exercise more and more the first fold of the Eightfold Path, the wisdom of letting go. We now bring the physical into the path of wisdom together. All bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could telephony absorb into this communication or speech. All forms melt into speech. When I was younger, with the utmost of sincerity and enthusiasm, I wrote prasadhanas or practice texts that were lengthy and complicated. I then happened upon some advanced texts written by so-called high lamas that were remarkably simple. And then I remembered a quote from Einstein, and he said that, and I paraphrase, any educated idiot can make things more complicated, more difficult, and more violent. However, it takes a lot of courage and a little bit of genius to move in the opposite direction. And since then, I've tried to make things just as easy and approachable as possible. Remember, in the second to final passage of the Buddha's discourse on the four bases of mindfulness, he explained that one could master his path in as little as 7 days. The key to that is a practice that is as easy and simple and efficient as it is potent. Now let us bring our experience of the interpersonal into the path of the wisdom of letting go. All interpersonal communication or speech could be as impermanent and interdependent, as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. The synopsis would read, all speech melts into mind. Someone listening to this for the first time might say, this sounds rather self-centered. That's what Dorothy Umbridge would say, wouldn't she? And she'd be right. We are taking our built-in, factory-installed, instinctual tendencies to look out for numero uno, and we are using it as a carrier wave to grow in wisdom, to grow in love, to master the path of love and letting go, which I feel to be deliciously ironic. Now let us bring our experience of the mental into the path of the wisdom of letting go. All lucid perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. The six-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted is quite simply, all minds melt into void. We now come to our second and final repetition of the mindfulness and meditation of the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, wherein we slice through the obscurations of our Buddha nature. Oh, I was supposed to change something. Let's do this anyway. Slice through the obscurations to our Buddha nature. Copy. Now, just like before, we're going to use energy work, or tikle, or anu yoga, or bliss and letting go as a preparatory practice. This particular flavor is known in Tibet as Lama na Jor, and could be translated into English as blending with the teacher's mind. There is no supernatural component. There's no need for blind faith. There is no need for exhausting visualizations. We are simply going to recite the next 6 syllables. We're going to chant it, actually. Lama, blend with this mind. And again, if you're watching this on the tube app, then the bronze image or the bronze statue, or the image of the bronze statue, that's the ticket, represents us, the meditator. The drawing or the painting of the little red Buddha represents either a teacher who's had a great impact on us, or simply the teachings themselves. It is unimportant. The 6-syllable phrase is, Lama, blend with this mind. And for those of you who are watching over the tube app, you'll notice that whereas in the first exercise, the little red image of a Buddha was overhead, now it's superimposed upon our chest. Let us chant. Lama, blend with this mind. Lama, blend with this mind. Lama, blend with this mind. One of the cool things about the simplicity of mindfulness and meditation is that for lazy bastards such as ourselves, they are the key to effortlessly and automatically realizing the remainder of the sixthfold path. Impermanence and interdependence, and kindness of intention, communication, conduct, and commerce. And the coolest thing is that the more we practice this mindfulness and this meditation, the more our choices, utterances, and deeds flow upon the carrier wave of not our calculated contrivance, not our wild scatteredness, but our centered spontaneity, which of course gives birth to effortless effort. For the next several minutes, let us sit and breathe and watch and rest. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions intermittently. Remember, we're not concentrating, we're not analyzing. Our watching is passive and vulnerable and visceral and random and fleeting. Oh yes, you might find it helpful to rest the great knuckle at the base of your right middle finger upon the little fingers up in your lap. We now practice loving kindness, the second through fifth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. This has been described as leaping over jealousy. Let us chant an explanation of this 10-syllable mantra. This will be much easier if you join me on the Tube app. Om Alma Shataras with the swift and courageous who... I'm having trouble here. Let's try this again. Om Alma Shatara, the swift and courageous with Tutare, you drive away all fears. Heroine with today fulfilling all aims, so hard may all be as beneficial as you. So although this is written from a literalist point of view, we could think of the archetype of Green Tata as purely allegorical. How are we like Green Tata? Our minds are lucid yet non-graspable. Our experience of the interpersonal is resounding, yet non-graspable. Our bodies are sensual, yet non-graspable, and our circumstances are appearing, yet non-graspable, just like hers. So this is known as Tokal, or love and letting go, or Mahayoga. Let us begin by bringing our experience of the mental into the path of love and letting go. May all minds of all beings now be as joyfully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a bija, one syllable seed mantra, tam or tikle, drop. So we're going to coalesce all those words into just 6 syllables. Bija wise for all minds. This is not an opportunity for blind faith. This is not an opportunity for visualization. We are simply allowing the passive recitation of words to gently guide our intention, to gently stimulate our pre-existing neural pathways for empathy. And just like doing push-ups can strengthen our muscles, these contemplations can strengthen our empathy. Bija wise for all minds. We now blend the silent exercise with mantra meditation. During our inhalation, we silently and mentally recite Bija wise for all minds. Once again, this is easier on the clock app. During our exhalation, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant the 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 8 breaths. Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa, Om Tare Du Dare Nuri Suwa.
Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Dare 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 Du Nani Nuri Suwa. It has been said by Dzogchen Rinpoche that this set of exercises bestows tantric empowerment in all beings everywhere, making empowerment obsolete. We now come to our second of 4 bases of mindfulness, bringing our experience of the interpersonal into the path of love. May all relationships, communication, all speech of all beings now be as peacefully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech or communication symbolized by this horizontal 10-syllable mantra. The 6-syllable synopsis is as follows. Mantra love for all speech. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the 6-syllable synopsis. During our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant the 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 8 breaths. Om Tare Du Nani Nuri Suwa. 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 Om Dani Du Dani 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 Nuri Suwa. Om
dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. Come, let us bring the physical into the path of love. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddha's statuary of the blissful body of a Devi or Yadam, an archetype of enlightenment such as Green Tana. The six-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted is Yidam health for all forms. It's not a question of belief. It's not a question of visualization. It is merely a question of intention. As we inhale silently and mentally recite the six-syllable synopsis, as we exhale, we could physically relax as best we can while simultaneously striving to chant the 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 8 breaths. If this is your first rodeo, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa, Om dare-do dare-do sawa. We come now to our fourth and final base of mindfulness. Let us bring our experience of the circumstantial into the path of love and letting go. Let us chant. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safety, good fortune, or boon. As a Buddha is real or imagined, paradise, pure land or Vati. Let us silently and mentally recite the 6-syllable synopsis, Vati Boon, for all lots. Thinking about folks whose circumstances are genocide. Folks whose circumstances are jingoism or fascism. People forced to be homeless where there is a surplus of homes. People forced to go hungry where there is a surplus of food. People forced to go to wear tatters where there is a surplus of garments. May all of humanity shift from cruel competition to compassionate cooperation. During our inhalation, silently and mentally, we could recite the 6-syllable synopsis, Vati Boon, for all lots. During our exhalation, we could physically relax as best we can while striving to chant the 10-syllable mantra 4 times per breath for a total of 8 breaths. Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Tu Tani Nuri Suwa. Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Dani Nu Dani Nuri Suwa, Om Dani Nu Dani Nuri Suwa, Om Dani Nu Dani Nuri Suwa, Om Dani Nu Dani Nuri Suwa. Om Dani Nu Dani Nuri Suwa, Om Dani Nu Dani Nuri Suwa, Om Dani Nu Dani Nuri Suwa, Om Dani Nu Dani Nuri Suwa. Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa. Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa, Om Tani Nu Nani Nuri Suwa. To chant with me, you may wish to join the Clock app simulcast. In our compassion, may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of ever. Hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the 3 mental poisons. In all pragmatism, may all liberation of others be fueled by following the Buddha's example, applying his instructions, and cooperating with his students. Described by the metaphor of the 3 wish-fulfilling jewels. Having sat for the better part of an hour, it could be quite invigorating for us to practice what I like to call spooky squat thrusts while conversationally reciting an 8-syllable synopsis of that which we just chanted. May we free all through the 3 jewels. So there's going to be some camera motion. I must warn those who are sensitive to motion sickness. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay. Oof. Okay, here we go. Oof. Okay, here we go. Okay, get that in the middle of the screen. Okay. Whoops. That did not work well. Let's do it this way. That might work better. Okay, here we go. Whoa. Half heel squat. May we full heel squat. Free all. Toe squat all the way down. And advance forward. Through the 3 jewels. Half heel squat. May we full heel squat. Free all. Toe squat. Through the 3 jewels. Final repetition. Half heel squat. May we, oops, that's methochus. Full heel squat. Free all. No squat. Through the 3 jewels. Well, that was oh yes, one last thing. So let's do a quick variation of the converse pose. Left hand, right tibia, right hand, left shin, and right one. Okay. Let us conclude this morning's session by chanting wishes for the preservation of the Buddha's teachings. May each meditation teacher truly understand the Buddha's teachings and practice master as well as teach them generously, lovingly, and wisely in the manner of centered spontaneity. May each meditation teacher spontaneously receive generous patrons, enthusiastic students, as well as devoted apprentices. And thus may many Dharma centers be successfully planted, nurtured, and flourish. Oopsie, let's try this again. Oh, that's weird. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I've earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 2.25 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's brunch meditation class and group practice. Although I think today it might take me more like 6 hours to get back to you, or 5.5. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see what my immune system has to say about that. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.